after all of that, I don't want you to be disappointed with this whole total anticlimactic ending, but you guys might get a chuckle out of it. So when I sent an addendum from my sellers saying we are terminating, we're putting you on notice, we are terminating. Thing one is you accepted a contingent offer without, I'm sorry, you accepted another offer with a contingency without the written permission of seller. In addition, you had a second one on top of that, and your earnest money was late. So we did that, and I sent it to him, and he was livid. And he told me, oh, I'm going to contact my principal broker and be talking to them in the morning and get back to you. And I was like, you should probably do that. And you might want to check out the line on the contingent right to purchase addendum. And within a few hours, I had that termination signed. So he understood that the buyers were bumped. And what he should have done earlier on is understood and explained to the buyers that they can't do that without asking for permission. So he should have done an addendum that said, buyers have accepted another offer. Would the sellers be willing to, you know, basically getting the permission in writing from the sellers to accept that offer with the multiple contingency. So we cleaned that up in that transaction. We just closed on the backup offer last Friday, so all is good. But I think it's really important that we are having those conversations with our clients and not letting other parties kind of bully us and kind of just think they know the form, and really stand up for what you do know and really read these forms carefully and educate the parties involved. Okay, so I really want to point out that line 6, because in every class I've been in, there's somebody in the room or a handful of people in the room that did not know that was there. It's very important you understand it. And then on line 10, buyer agrees to keep the buyer's property listed during this contingent offer timeline. That's absolutely important, we feel. What happens if the buyers were to take the home off the market? We got to talk about that. Keep it on the market. In 2019, there was an acknowledgement of related forms and additional terms section that we removed, but be sure to tell them to your buyers and sellers so they know what they are. I'm talking about the related forms like the notice of buyers receipt of acceptable offer, or the seller's notice to buyers they have another offer. And then there's no buyer waiver of contingency unless in writing. That was also removed. And in 2019, there was this bumpable buyer verbiage, which was removed because these forms, remember, are all over the state of Oregon, and each MLS is going to have its own different statuses and things. So make sure that if you want to add that back in there or something like that, you go to the other section, but it's been removed. And online, you might notice on line 8 and 9, those look a little bit different. This is one of the things we are working on, getting feedback from people to make these two lines match up a little bit better, but we felt the additions we have already are really a good start to make improving this section. And it says buyer's property is currently listed for sale in an active status with a local multiple listing service, comma, MLS number. So before it just talked about, you know, it's currently listed, meaning it's not under a for sale by owner. But now we said active status, because in my office, I've seen brokers go, yeah, well, we activated it, but it's in a pre-status, it's in a coming soon, and it's sitting there for 3 or 4 weeks. And we just felt that wasn't fair to the other party because, hey, you agreed you'd get it going on the market to try to get a buyer, ready, willing, and able buyer on your property so you could remove this contingency. So we put the term an active status. We've gotten some feedback on some suggestions. We're going to look at it. We might make that even say something like publicly active status. So watch for that, see what we come up with, and we'll take any suggestions. We also added a local multiple listing service because we felt it was important that it is under a local MLS. Like if somebody's selling their property in Florida, you know, what part of Florida? Is it listed in, you know, southern Florida when the property is in northern Florida? So really important that that's in there, and we want to make that a little bit better on the next line where it says buyer will have it listed for sale within blank business days 3 if not filled in with a licensed real estate agent in an active status with a local multiple listing service. We want to make those match a little bit better, but it's already a nice little improvement, I think. So let's go to the next slide. Line 20, it changed. It used to say remain unchanged to 1 business day after acceptance of this contingent offer. It's basically the same thing, but very important you understand it does say 1 business day now. 2019 stated that the contingency on the sale of the buyer's property was removed with the delivery of the buyer's notice to seller. Then there was verbiage regarding negotiations if the buyer's sale failed. That has been removed as well. The thought is that if the buyer's sale fell through, negotiations were to start over and use this form again. In 2019, that form stated the property goes pending upon removal of sale contingency verbiage. That was removed as well, again, because of the MLS rules. We're going to be different in every market. Those will apply as necessary per your bylaws for your MLS. And then lines 25 and 26, if a buyer has an accepted offer on their property, they must notify seller no later than expiration of the buyer's inspection. I like this addition. You still might choose to notify them when you have it actually accepted, but you have the opportunity to wait and notify the other party after the buyers of that property have had their inspections. So it's a little opportunity there to wait if you so choose. 2019 verbiage stated that if seller delivers the notice to buyer and buyer doesn't respond, the transaction is terminated after 24 or other time hours has been removed. We took that part out as well. So a lot of changes on that form. Again, you might want to compare those two to see what's different, but I do suspect we will be coming out with, I even know for a fact we're going to be coming out with some more changes on that. I just don't know exactly what it's going to look like at this point. So any suggestions, we would gladly take them. Please email us. Any questions on that form with all that mess up we had there with technology and stuff?
What happens if they have a property in the state?
Can you repeat that question, please?
What if they have, I think it's local for where they're at. Like she was saying, if the property is in Northern Florida, then it's in Northern Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, we did the best we could with that thought process about local MLS. You guys down there in Coos County, you wouldn't want me listing your client's property down there, right? Because the other party's client's property, right? Because I don't know that market. I could be a member of that multiple listing, but it's not my local MLS. So that's our thought process on that. Anything else? Okay, the FERPTA stuff, I can kind of go quickly over, but like I said earlier, the FERPTA addendum was deleted and the qualified substitute statement was deleted. Yay. The advisory is still there, and we strongly encourage that you are using that advisory every time, every buyer or seller you have on the transaction. Make it consistent practice. And it's basically the whole FERPTA law summary or any changes we have in the FERPTA advisory here on 92. It's basically all the same changes we made in the sales agreements about FERPTA. But on line 7, we put the entire tax act name by adding of 1980. And then lines 10 through 11, we clarified it doesn't include a foreign corporation that has not elected to be treated as a domestic corporation. And lines 11 through 12 clarifies it does not include a resident alien individual. We also removed references to OREF 94 FERPTA certification of non-foreign status, though it still exists, like I said earlier, and the warning on any confidential information. We removed the references to the FERPTA addendum because, like I said, it's been deleted. And then we added the significant verbiage, just like I spoke about earlier, about escrow and their compliance and having that extended 5 business day closing period if they are to change escrow companies and share in those fees. On lines 50 through 51, it discusses the right of reliance based on the certificate. This is really the only change from the sales agreements. And then on line 55, we removed references to those deleted forms. And then on the certificate of non-foreign status, I wanted to touch on that a little bit. I don't know about your area, but here where we are, we have 4 very reputable escrow companies, but there are some places in the state that do not have a very close escrow company. And so sometimes they're not able to prepare or not willing to prepare the the FERPTA stuff through the escrow process, or they're just too far away. So we left, where am I reading here? I'm sorry. So we didn't want the broker is searching for a form on their own, but we want to, so we, it's there, but we don't want you guys using that form. It's there for those needed times when the escrow company is not able to help with that. Does that make sense? And then, like I said earlier, the FERPTA certificate of non-foreign status, 94. It's the same. It just clarifies what a foreign person is or is not. Same with the next slide, clarifying what it is or isn't a foreign person. That is all I've got. This was fun. Any questions in general about any of the forms, or maybe a form we didn't talk about that you might have a question about?
Anybody? No, it doesn't appear so.
Well, thank you everybody for your patience, and sorry we all had experienced that little technical hiccup, but we're pleased to at least coordinate this webinar with the organizer's permission. We'll send over this recording so you can at least, if you wanted to hear and you still missed parts of this.
Oh, we lost you.
No, it sounded like somebody was talking. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, there's someone here making an announcement.
Oh, okay.
You're just talking to me now.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you anyways. I appreciate your time and effort, and I apologize for the inconvenience.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I'll share the recording. I cursed one.
Well, we appreciate your tenacity and making this work.
Yeah, absolutely. You bet. Thank you both very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.